Alright guys, so today we're gonna be taking a look on GodForge Archetypes, alright? And just so you guys know, if you saw my last short, you know that right now we're gonna be going raw and uncut. Well, actually, I'm lying to you because we're gonna cut the shit out of those videos, okay? Or you guys gonna get bored really quick. But, so, a lot of times, like what people gonna do in this kind of videos, they're gonna go through Simon's video, for example, and actually explain the archetypes. What I'm gonna do is a little bit different. I'm just gonna go through the archetypes with you guys. Honestly, give my opinion, if they work, if they don't work, what I think about it, okay? Just so you guys have a better idea how the game gonna be working when it's released, and also when it comes out on the alpha testing by next month. Alright guys, so first archetype gonna be Defender. Alright, so Defender champion's gonna have a role of tank, protector, specialties, shielding, damage mitigation, deflection. The primary stats of them are gonna be high defense, high HP, high resistance, and slow speed. And the gear attunement, plate, or mail. Now, they also gonna have attunement bonuses for if they're using the correct type of armor. What I also gonna say one thing that for me, I think that works really well. For me, this is kind of like a callback to some of the older dungeon crawlers. If you guys know Ultima and everything, what they actually have people that worked on the Ultima games actually working on GodForge. But one of the main things is also playing tabletop, D&D, Baldur's Gate, any other titles. One of the things you guys see is what? If you're not wearing the correct armor for your class or anything, it will cause you're gonna actually lose points, right? For example, mages, they can physically actually put plate armor, but they're not able to cast spells if they have. So I think this is a very good choice of the game. Because basically, what it's saying is, look, if you're a defender, you're not going to be wearing like paper armor or something like this, right? You want to be using something heavy, like plate or chainmail. So this works for me. I'm going to be going through the others. I'm not going to be doing the same explanation because it makes no sense, but I feel that's one of the things that really going to separate this game. Now, let me know in the comments if you guys know any newer game that actually do things like this as well. Alright, so the next type, we're gonna have Invoker. Role of Invoker gonna be support, healer, buffer. Specialties, healing, turn meter boost, speed initiative boosts. Primary stats, high initiative, high speed, high resistance. Gear attunement, clot. Kind of goes back to the whole like mage, right? Because that would make sense for Invoker to be using light armor, to be able to actually invoke the powers, do whatever magic they need, and all that stuff. Now, the next archetype we have is the Brawler, the one everybody actually enjoys playing until they need the Invoker to boost their abilities, etc. But Brawler, solo fighter, bruiser. Specialty, self-sustain, HP scaling damage, frontline brawler. Primary stats, high HP, high damage, low team synergy. Gear attunement, chainmail. So, I feel the brawler, it is kind of more of a tank, okay? So, kind of like, I would say almost between a defender and the actual attack class. So pretty high damage, but also high HP. I think if you guys play raids, it probably would be something like some of those HP damage champions, right? What is actually pretty good. So this is the type of champion I would say if you want to clear areas pretty much solo, probably the best one, because while they're gonna have high damage, it probably not gonna be as high as one of the next ones we're gonna be discussing. But it will have enough damage versus the amount of HP the champion has to be able to keep them alive. So, pretty good call. I feel it would be almost like Barbarian on D&D, right? And then we have Disruptor. Disruptor, roll, debuffer, and control. Specialty, disable enemies, debuffs, control initiative, and turn order. Primary stats, high speed initiative, mid survival, low to mid attack. So, not something that's going to be hitting hard, but you gotta use this type of champions to be able to control the enemies, right? And the gear attunement gonna be Night Weave. Now it's not gonna be dropped on alpha, by the way, so we'll have to figure out what is fine. I mean, I feel Night Weave probably gonna be something extremely cool because it's not dropped on alpha. What it means, you're probably still kind of working on how to make this type of gear better, okay? Or work more properly. Because sometimes when you think about something really cool, you have to be very careful so players don't abuse of whatever perks it has. But, pretty cool. Now, the next one, and the last one we're going to be talking about, is Slayer. Slayer, roll, DPS, glass cannon. You know what that means, right? Specialty, how high burst damage, burns, debuff-based nuking. Primary stats, ultra high attack, low defense, minimum team support. Gear attunement, leather. Attunement bonus, well, not gonna cover attunement bonus, but, so, this is a kind of like really cool type of champions, right? When I played Rappels, we have Slayers, and that's pretty much how the Slayer is. It's a really fast attacker, very high damage, but the problem is, if you actually throw a little high winds at them, they may die. So, what you do is you build them usually really fast, to hit really hard, and make sure you have people actually blocking the damage that would be going towards them. Now, I haven't seen how they work in the game. We're going to be seeing next month in the channel, but this looks pretty good. And now, so we have those 5 archetypes, right? To be honest, I feel it's something that a lot of games start moving away from it. Like, if you guys play Raid, you know, you're going to have some champions that, in a sense, they would be, let me say, a defender, right? But somehow they have debuffs, a lot of debuffs. So you end up having to walk away from actually building him to defend himself, to putting him with high accuracy. What causes kind of like a little bit of confusion. Yes, it will allow you to build the champion different ways for different cases. If you already have someone that has a lot of the same debuffs this champion has, you can just build him or her just with plain high damage, right? But in this case, I think that works. Now, again, we still need to see how the game gonna work. We're gonna know next month, and everything I'm telling you here, by what I'm seeing, may be completely wrong when we actually start playing on the alpha, okay? So, I feel those 5 are pretty solid, because if they keep in the way I feel they're gonna be doing, it's kind of gonna allow you guys to actually plan better teams, right? So, I like the way they're going. I still have to see the implementation, okay? I honestly, guys, I have not seen, so I'm just talking off my ass right now in how I feel they're going towards by everything I've seen so far. Now, other mechanics that it's going to have is the affinities, and the affinity is going to have to do with wisdom, cunning, strength, and eternal, and the alignments. Chaos versus order. what are gonna be tied into the story, and potentially actually have chaos versus order specific content and events. What I think is very smart of Faithless, because a lot of the choices they have been making have more to do with where can we go from the game that we're gonna put out, right? So instead of just winging, they're leaving a lot of options open, but at the same time tying all the loose ends. So it's not like sometimes you see in a lot of games a lot of, oh, there should be something here. They're not doing that. They're just making sure if they need to, or if they want at some point to add something to the game, it makes sense. It's not just some random thing popping up in the game or anything. So this actually really works for me. Okay. Now, yes, you guys can say I'm being a fanboy, and yes, I have. And basically, the only reason is because they have been making good choices. If they're not, trust me, I would be ripping on them. And the most because, to be honest, this company, they have been listening to the community a lot more than I would expect any company to ever do. And because of that, I trust they will actually make the right choices. So I'm really excited to when the alpha drops next month. As far as I know, everything is online with their schedule. No date yet, but definitely next month. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. Guys, let me know in the comments if you plan to be playing GodForge, if you applied for the alpha, beta, Charlie, Delta, whatever points of the game release. Let me know in the comments. And as always, I'll see you in the game.